If you don't already have it open from the previous lesson, go into your working folder and pick up grayscale.psd. In this lesson, we're going to let Photoshop do the driving. Not necessarily the best way to get to our destination of grayscale, but let's explore all of our options. So we got the image open. There are three main ways that Photoshop can drive this image to grayscale, and I want a copy of this image, 3 copies actually, so we can look at each one and decide if we even like any of them. So let's do this. Go into Essentials Workspace. That's where I am. This button right here is History. Now, if you don't see it, you can go to the word Window and pick it up from there. History is so cool. There's so many things about history. It's not just about multiple undos. For example, this button right here, if I click it, will create a copy of this image. You'll see another tab come up here. I want 3. So I'm going to go click, click, click. I now have 3 copies of that image. We'll leave this one alone so we can always go back and look at the original. Let's start with this one right here. Let me go ahead and double click the hand tool, and that'll get it up to the same size as the other one. Let me close this out. We don't need it anymore. The first technique we'll look at is just plain old desaturate. Now that leaves the image as an RGB image, but it equalizes each one of the color channels, like I showed you in the previous lesson actually. We go up the word image on the pull-down menu and go down to Adjustments and select Desaturate. Okay, there's our first one. I don't like it. I don't think you do either, but that's one way you could start the process. The next one over, let's go to this one. And let's go ahead and double-click the hand tool again. The next way is literally to convert the image from an RGB image into a grayscale image, but Photoshop's doing the work for you. Let's go ahead and go into Channels too, because this is going to change. This is a red, green, and blue mix RGB additive color image, and it's about to go into a single channel grayscale image by going up to the word image on the pull-down menu and going to Mode and selecting grayscale. Now it's going to say, don't you think you want to go here? We are going to go there in the next lesson. But, no, I don't want this. Discard. That's the second way. Now, the third way was actually a way we used quite a bit until we got things like black and white adjustment. So let's go to number 3. Let's double-click on our hand tool. We're going to do 2 things. Number 1, we're going to convert the image into the LAB color space. This was a very popular way to do this years ago. Image, Mode, LAB. Now, in the LAB space, see how it changed over here? You have an A and a B, and you have a lightness. What we usually did was select lightness, then go up to the word image and down to Mode and select grayscale. From here, it will say, do you want to discard the other channels? You say yes and click OK. And now you have a grayscale image. So here's the original. Here's desaturate, which is not that good. Here is converting it to grayscale, which is a little bit better. And here's just using the lightness channel in an LAB color mode, which I guess of all 3 is probably the best. But understand what's going on here. Photoshop is using a set of rules, and it applies the set of rules to every image equally. And occasionally you'll look at it and go, I like that. That's a pretty good grayscale image. And other times you're going to look at it and you say, I don't like it. That's why we have an adjustment layer called black and white, and that's why we're going to that next. Now we can close this down. Don't save it. And all I got to do is click on those and don't save. Now again, we will be using this one in the next lesson, so if you would like to keep it open, that's fine.